and welcome back to Seconds Out. My name is Ayman Khan, and the problem returns. Michael McKinson is back in the ring December 17th. Michael, good to see you back. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. It feels good to be back. Obviously I fought in Texas in August. Didn't go my way, but to be able to fight so close to home before the year's out is great for me. I haven't fought. This would be the closest I've fought to home in 5 years, and it'll be the first time I've been able to boxed in front of my supporters in over 3 years now. So I'm happy and I'm excited for it.
Just before we jump into everything with yourself, I saw a little tidbit online about your brother. He won the English title, but he's not yet received it. Michael, has he received the title?
You know what? He received it yesterday.
Did he?
Yeah, so Lucas Ballingle, for anyone that don't know, is my brother. He won the English title in September the 30th, and there was no bout on the night. There was no bout on the night to win. Like it was a weird thing. And it's taken them the British Boxing Board of Control 63 days to send him a bout out. So there's been he won the English title. There's been no pictures of him with a belt. He hasn't been able to celebrate him having his first title for 9 weeks. But yeah, yesterday it came in the post, so he's over the moon. I'm happy for him.
Good news. Very, very, very late, well-earned Christmas present there that you can put under the tree. Jumping back to yourself then, you've spoke at length with my colleague Danny Flexen in the aftermath of your first loss to Virgil Ortiz.
He was the first interview I did.
You did, yeah.
I think it was the day or two after the fight, facial bruise. He was the first person I gave time to, yeah.
It seems like a while ago now. I don't want to go over too much old ground, but I wondered if, as time's gone past and maybe you've watched it or thought about it more, have you gained or changed any sense of perspective from the fight or seen it in a different light in any sort of way, Michael?
Do you know, at the time I was receiving nothing but positive comments, credit and recognition and stuff. Other than the loss, there was not a lot of negatives I could take from it. But, I can't be proud of a loss. Like, no matter, okay, I became the first fighter from my city to fight in America. I did it twice. Fought in a world title eliminator from the very bottom to nearly the very top. But I lost. I took Virgil the longest anyone's taken him, and I showed a lot of art, a lot of bravery, a good chin, all stuff like that. But I just want to put that behind me now, because at the end of the day, I lost, and now it's time to rebuild on the experiences that I've learned this year and stuff like that, because I'm very fortunate to have been able to be in 2 big events in the States. So there's a lot to build on from, and there's a lot to improve, develop, and who knows where I'll be in 12, 18 months time. I haven't really lost my ranking on BoxRec. I'm still, I think, 14th in the world on BoxRec. So I'm still in a very good position for big fights. I'll focus on the 17th, get that out of the way, and then 2023, there's massive fights out there for me.
You've with that rebuild, I've seen that you've been doing the rounds for sparring a number of people. Just in the last images we saw of you was the loss to Virgil, but we saw maybe a bit of an injury. Are you 100% now? What's the status with that injury?
Yeah, so in the fight, you obviously see me limping and stuff like that. So it's my hip, my hip bone. I thought I was taking his headshots, I was taking his body shots, and in my head in the fight, there was no way I was getting stopped. Like, I was taking his best, and then he obviously can hit that hard that he hit me on the hip bone, and all my ligaments and all went, and couldn't really walk and couldn't put weight on it. Thankfully, I had my physio over in the States with me, and I'll work very closely with my physio. Shout out Cameron Brew from SCRX Physiotherapy. And he gave. I had a nice month off. I went on a nice holiday, and then I started working closely with him again, and I feel stronger than ever right now. Like I've sparred, I've tested it, and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel good, even stronger than before.
Michael, we don't get to see that time away from the camera where you're doing that physio rehabbing and getting back ready to. Is that a particularly difficult time for you? Were you welcoming with the spotlight that you've gained a bit of time away from that spotlight?
Yeah, I was over like the following day. I could hardly move. Like he got me in the swimming pool the following day and all stuff like that, and stuff like that. So I have been working behind the scenes to be able to recover, a little bit of rehab and stuff like that. Um, Even on my holiday that I went on, I had exercises to get on with and stuff like that. But yeah, it's always good to have a little break. I've had two big fights this year, and you've got to think the first fight where Ortiz pulled out in March, I was in camp for 4 months. I was in camp for 4 months. It was long, and then obviously I fought again in August. I fought Ortiz in August, so it was good to have a month off. I didn't have to think about boxing or that. Didn't have to think about running. But we're back. And for the Ortiz fight, that was a life-changing fight for me. Like I got paid very well and all stuff like that. I didn't have to cram another fight in this year. I didn't, but in my head, I didn't want to finish the year of me on the canvas and Ortiz looking over me. I didn't want to finish it like that. Um, I'm a very ambitious guy. I've got a lot of pride as well, so I jumped at the opportunity to be able to get out before the year's out. I don't have to, but I jumped at it.
Final one, and before we look forward, looking back, have you spoke to Ortiz since?
We've got each other on social media now, and he does show an interest in my page and likewise and stuff. There's a lot of respect there. People knew, and even in the build up, how much of a respectful, humble guy he is. And I'll be rooting for him on his way for a world title now. Makes me look better then, doesn't it? But who knows what the future holds? I don't know if he'll stay at 147 for long. But like for me, I jumped from the likes of Chris Congo to Virgil Ortiz. I didn't have them stepping stone fights in between. Imagine with them stepping stone experiences and stuff, where I could be, because I am getting better as an athlete. So, you know, I will be competing with the likes of Virgil Ortiz and them guys in the future, 100%. I just got to stay in my lane, rebuild from it, keep developing, and like I said before, who knows what the future holds.
December 17th is the start of that rebuild. Then you've had that time now to dust yourself off, and you're back on the undercard of Billy Smith versus Joe Shy. And Michael, how did this come about? It's good to see you on a boxer card, boxer doing their thing and putting on shows. But how did this come about for you to appear on the undercard?
Yeah, just my team really. Obviously I always push like my dad at the moment, like he's managing me, and I've got a good guy in Joe from K4 Global. They're looking after me at the moment, and there was an opportunity that was given. Like I got asked, and I jumped at it. So big shout out to my team. A big shout out for the opportunity. Ben Shalom and Boxer for giving me the opportunity on their show. Like I said, Joe from K4 Global and my dad that's working for me behind the scenes at the moment. And I'm in a real good place at the moment. I'll get to fight in front of my supporters for the first time in years. I've had to go on my travels and go and doing it the hard way, and because it's been 3 years since I've been able to sell a ticket to my friend. That was November 19. Then the pandemic hit. I boxed behind closed doors. That was weird. Then I got the opportunity against Congo, so that was in Gibraltar to the locals. Then I fought in Eddie Earn's back garden and two in America. So it feels good that my supporters have got something to get excited about. I owe it to them, really. I do owe it to them. I owe it to myself to be able to get out before the year's out with a win and stuff. But I'm guessing it will be a very dangerous opponent, like they all are for me. You know, I wouldn't want it any other way. Should find out any day now who it is. I said I didn't want anybody with a losing record. So we'll just see what happens.
Michael, you said something that I thought was quite interesting. That you said you felt you owed it to your supporters. Why do you feel that way?
Because if you looked at the last time I sold tickets was against Luis Alberto Veron in November 2019, and since then my career's taken off. That was on a small hall show. Look where I am now, and my supporters have had to support me from home, from their sofas and their TV screens and stuff like that. And you know, my supporters want a night out. Like they do. Do you know what I mean? I do owe it to them. I've gone to the States and I've done some great things. And to be fair, when I went to LA, I had a good number come over to support me. But being 55 minutes down the road in Bournemouth, the like is pretty handy and a good thing for them on a big show as well. So it is exciting. They announced it, me being on the card 3 weeks out, and there's a lot of people that've got like Christmas events and work dues, and it's just before Christmas and stuff. But nonetheless, I'll get to fight close to home, and I'm really excited about it.
Are you looking to potentially stick with Boxer? Are your options open? What's the situation there with you promotionally?
No, I'm not signed to Boxer. You know, Matchroom changed my life 18 months ago. Gave me the opportunity against Chris Congo and then signed me on a 3-fight deal. Like without Matchroom, probably wouldn't have got my America fights and stuff like that. So they really did change my life, and you know, I'm in credit to him for life. You know, because I waited a long time for that opportunity. I earned it. Don't get me wrong, I earned it, but they changed my life. But you know, I've had my 3 fights with Matchroom now. It was a 3-fight deal. I had my 3 fights, so who knows what the future holds. At the moment, I'm just very grateful that Boxer and Ben Shalom have given me an opportunity on their card. You know, I'm not signed to anyone as of yet. At this present time, I'm not signed to anyone. So the main objective is to get a fight before the year's out, and I've got one.
You've got that fight then, as you say, on the undercard, December 17th. You said before you're looking for a good opponent. In terms of that rebuild, not looking past the good opponent, but what level do you kind of look at for yourself? Do you look at the domestic scene? Do you look higher? Where do you feel you're placed after the Virgil Ortiz fight?
I'm UK's #1 welterweight. I'm arguably UK's #1 welterweight. You know, there's a lot of controversy and not even controversy because people have been found positive of substances and stuff. So I am UK's #1 welterweight. So when you look at it, Conor Benn's in a sticky situation at the moment. Who's one beneath me? Chris Congo. I beat him up 18 months ago. I took everything away from him 18 months ago. So I am sitting at the top of the tree domestically. So it's not really like it makes me sound like quite full of myself and stuff like that. But factually, I am top of the tree domestically still. There are some fights that I'd be looking to try and get in there in 2023 after I get a win in a couple of weeks. You know, that Golden Boy have still got opportunities for me over there. Alexis Rocha, Blair Cobbs. I'd love the Blair Cobbs fight. Well, either of them, really. They both make sense. So I could always go back to America, but I need a win, you know. I need to don't take my eyes off the prize in a couple of weeks. Make sure I get my job done. Then I can enjoy the festive break. And then 2023, we hit it hard with a plan. You know, it was. I'm coming off a loss, but although I've done good things this year, I'm coming off a loss, so I need to put things right.
You mentioned Conor Ben there. I just want to get your thoughts on it. Was a surprise to see a rival of yours be in this situation, considering I think at the time Ben was looking at different fights, but people would mention your name to Ben, and he didn't seem to have that interest. And then further on down the line, your rival then is in this situation. From your perspective, how do you assess that situation, Michael?
Conor Ben, one of the UK's most improved fighters, and it all makes sense. It all makes sense why, but yeah, I showed an interest in the Conor Ben fight since 2020, no 2017, after I won my first title, and they obviously didn't want to know, and they didn't want the fight for whatever reason, and he's done very well. Like, he went from struggling with mediocre opposition to knocking out former world champions in the space of a couple of years. So there's obviously a lot of speculation as to why, and it's come out he has been positive for whatever reasons, and then it's gone quiet ever since. So gone quiet ever since. But he's got a lot of things to be able to prove his innocence and all stuff like that. But the fact of it is, he's been positive on tests, like for PD. So that's all I've got to say on that.
That's fair enough. You mentioned Alexis Rocha, Blair Cobbs, two names that you were linked with beforehand as well. If you had it ideally, which one would you have first?
I think Blair Cobbs sells the fight better. And I would probably say Blair Cobbs is the easiest fight. I like Alexis Rocha and I like his team. He's got a way better ranking. So that, like, for me, I want to get to the top. So you kind of, there's pros to them both. The Blair Cobbs fight would sell better, definitely. The Alexis Rocha fight would be better for my hunt to the top. And so if either of them was presented to me, I would jump at it with good notice. I'd jump at it. So, and like, after I was sat in the post-fight press conference room and got with Golden Boy after the Ortiz fight, and they said they'd be interested in lining me up with one of their guys, or Blair. I like Team Rocha, very classy people. I like Lex himself. He's a very respectful, nice guy, and a hell of a fighter as well. So that would be a great fight to make. And Blair Cobbs, when I fought Alex Martin, when Ortiz pulled out, he did this funny video. He's pure gimmick, isn't he? He's pure character. He did this funny video calling me out, and calling me out. He wanted to fight me that week. He was going to step in, blah, 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 blah. For whatever reason, it didn't materialise. And I said, I'll give him that fight. I've still got a better ranking than him. Although he's coming off a win and I'm coming off a loss, I'm higher up in the rankings than him. And I'll beat Blair Cobbs no problem. So either of them two guys I'd be up for. But I've got to make sure I'll get my work done on the 17th.
Does the European title interest you at all, Michael? Like you mentioned that you're the UK's #1 welterweight. The European title is vacant. It's been fought for early next year. I know that you've been the WBO European route, I believe it is, beforehand. But does that title interest you at all in terms of that, looking at those steps before world level or anything like that?
Yeah, of course. I think I'm maybe #4 or something with the European, or something like that. You've got John Miguez, who I've actually sparred before.
Right.
Sparred him out in Bilbao. He's fighting Jordy Weiss.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. I'd love the winner of that. If the America fights can't get made. That is definitely a possibility. Like, I'd beat the winner of that. Like, I know that, no problem. But we'll just see. I put full faith in my team, and we'll see what 2023 holds. I've made it no secret in my career that I'm easy to negotiate with. I'll fight anybody I'll scrap that. It's not I'll fight anybody. I'll fight anybody if the numbers are right now. You know, I went a long time taking big risks for hardly anything. And that's how I got up to fighting for a world title eliminator, headlining a golden show in Texas. Now I'm worth something, you know, so I'll fight anyone if the numbers are right. And I'm easy to negotiate with. I haven't got a big ego. I won't price myself out. All stuff like this that you see things happen a lot. I'm easy. I'm easy to negotiate with, and like there are big fights. I've been a pro 8 years. Proud of what I've achieved in the last 18 months and stuff like that, and proud of where I've come from, not earning a penny from boxing. First 10 pro fights, couldn't sell tickets, didn't earn anything to get in life-changing fights this year, going to America, you know, being known worldwide and stuff. I'm very proud, but I'm not satisfied. You know, I've been a pro since I was 20, and I feel like I've got another 8 years in me. You know, so it's all about achieving more, setting more goals, and reaching them.
Michael, final couple of things from me. Just away from yourself, Crawford versus AVANESYAN. Interesting fight that came about. I wonder what you feel about that fight. We've seen AVANESYAN on these shores. We know Crawford very well, being one of the pound for pound greatest. I wonder if you feel that AVANESYAN is going to be a test for Terence Crawford.
I'm happy for David. I think he deserves a big fight. What's he, 34 years old? He's been European champion for a few years, and you know he's been at the world stage before and stuff like that. But I'm happy for him, his team, Carl Greaves, people like that. I'm happy for them all. They deserve it. I don't see him pulling an upset off. I think Terence Crawford is the elite, and if I was to put my last pound on it, I'd probably go Crawford mid to late. But you know, I'm happy for Team AVANESYAN. They deserve it, and yeah, like fair play to them.
Do you look at AVANESYAN as a potential opponent?
Yeah, I was. There was an interview I put out after, I think, Alex Martin fight. I remember doing it. I don't know if it was IFL or something like that. And I basically said that's a potential opponent. Let's get that. He had the European title. Obviously, I got the Ortiz fight in the end, but I do see it as a potential opponent. Don't know if they do, but not like anyone better than domestic level on the way to world level is a potential opponent for me.
Michael, I also wanted to say as well, your dad is your coach, and it seems like whenever you fight or your brother fights, your dad gets a lot of credit in terms of the style that he's developed with you both. But outside of that, it's not really spoken about. I wonder where you feel your dad stands in the pantheon of coaches within boxing right now.
You know, there's a lot of great coaches out there. There's a lot of great coaches that get given talent that are already good fighters or successful fighters, and they come to them and then they make them into world champions, all stuff like that. My dad has been given mediocre fighters, and turned them into champions. I never won anything as an amateur, and I'm homegrown with my dad. I never won anything as an amateur, not one national title. Neither did Lucas. He's taken us. We were good. We were always good. We wasn't medium. We was always good, but we never won anything. And we've been with him since the very start, and he's took us to where we are. He's been like some of his fighters were. He had one fighter that lost his professional debut to a journeyman, and my dad took him to 2 Southern area titles, like winning them both by knockout and all stuff like that. So he's good at taking average fighters or bad or poor fighters to getting them success and getting them like achievements and stuff like that. And obviously, since my bit of success, I always look on Twitter after my fights, and he always gets praised. He always gets praised, and even more so now that I'm in the limelight a little bit, and now Lucas has won a decent title as well. He's a very good coach. He's a great corner man as well. You'd be a good coach and a not so good corner man, but my dad's a very good corner man. No, and not a lot of knowledge there. He he's working behind the scenes at big shows and as a house second for years, and then in camps with like other people for years before all of this. So there's a lot of knowledge there, a lot of trust we have in him, and my achievements speak for itself. So he is slowly getting that credit.
Final thing from me: December 17th, you're back out on near enough home soil. What can fans who are there on the night and who are watching on TV expect to see from the Problem?
Bournemouth is 50 minutes down the south coast. Like, this is my homecoming. This is my homecoming. People, there's a lot of pressure on me because I'm the guy that's just fought Virgil Ortiz in his backyard, took him further than anybody else. So there's a lot of pressure on me. There's going to be a lot of eyes on me and all stuff like that to perform. But I love being under pressure. I love that. It makes me perform a lot better. People see a more developed McKinson. From what I've learned and developed this year has been crazy. It's been my biggest year of development by a mile. So yeah. I want to put a show on for my supporters. I really do. I'm excited for it.
Michael, it's been a pleasure speaking to you once again. Looking forward to seeing you back out in action. Thank you for speaking to Seconds Out. We'll speak very soon.
No problem, mate.